Hi, it's Brandon from thirstgym.com, and today we're talking about an exercise called the Sumo stiff leg deadlift. This is a great exercise to help build your deadlift, and it's just a different derivative of a normal stiff leg deadlift. We're going to use our Sumo stance. Now, this would obviously be great if you pull Sumo. We're going to get a little closer to that specificity of the actual exercise that you're going to do on competition day or the lift that you're trying to improve. The main thing I really like about this exercise is that it takes the leg drive out of the Sumo deadlift. So to me, this is a little more beneficial for Sumo deadlifters, just a stiff leg in general, because they've got more of a push, where conventional athletes generally have more of a hingy based pull. And at Sumo, we obviously do have some quad recruitment, but we do want to make sure that we're using it, but this is going to make sure we isolate our glutes and our hamstrings. So hopefully that can help give you an idea of why we might do this. Now, the big thing behind this exercise is ensuring that this is all coming from glutes and hamstrings, and we're intentionally keeping our butt up high and we're a little bit over the bar. We don't want to be super far in front of it, but being in front of the bar to some degree is important to make this exercise work well, just like with a conventional based derivative of it. So take your normal Sumo stance for your typical deadlift, wherever that might be. You can obviously play with this if you need to. However, you're probably going to want to have it what feels relatively normal. Then what you're going to do from this position is you're going to be a little bit further away, okay? So usually my Sumo stance, I'm usually pretty close to the bar. I'm not touching it, but I've got a little bit of room so that when I come up, I don't nick my knees. I don't create any friction that I don't need to. I'm gonna step away just a little bit more so my foot, the bar is a little bit more forward in the mid part of my foot versus like the back third. I'm going more towards the half of where the bar is in line with my foot placement, okay? But everything else, foot rootment is gonna stay the same. Now from a Sumo perspective, we're not going to actually come down here like I would for my normal Sumo pull. I'm going to keep my hips up high. I'm going to still bend my knees just a little bit. Arms are going to stay good and long. They're going to come straight down to where my hands would be here. But now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my butt and keep pushing it back so I'm in a good position. Okay, so back is still flat. I'm really hinging back hard. I can already feel my glutes and my hamstrings getting a good stretch from this position. Then what I'm going to do, keep my weight out in front of me just a little bit, but still stay heel heavy. Gonna still pull the slack out per normal. Gonna make sure I still keep my lats engaged. All that stays the same. The big difference is just gonna be how the knees are bending. They're just gonna stay soft like a regular RDL. And then I'm gonna wedge myself into position, drive my hips forward, basically deadlift the bar from that position, and then go back down to the start position. So here, okay, just like that. Now, notice I took a big breath and held it for a couple reps. Really want to maintain all that tightness and pull back on the bar and back towards us. So as you can tell, that's a pretty long lever arm. I could tell that was tremendously harder than doing like a regular Sumo deadlift or anything. But from this position, I'm working on wedging myself into the bar, but more importantly, I'm keeping it more towards my glutes and my hamstrings, and like I said, taking that quad workout, but then also my erectors and low back, I can already feel that. And as somebody that has had a history of low back problems, I'm definitely not gonna go heavier than this today, but I can definitely feel my low back working incredibly hard to maintain that position. And that's also what we want. We wanna make sure we keep good quality neutrality as much as we can. If you find yourself being in this position and you start to round, the weight is too heavy. You're missing the goal and the objective of this exercise for helping your deadlift. Ultra strict in terms of your technique, where your hip position is, keeping that knees good and soft, so we don't want to make it to where we start to squat it up a little bit. We're trying to keep that out of the equation. So really hinge and drive your hips back hard, and then as you go to meet the bar, bring your hips forward. So you're going to get that lockout piece, but you're also going to get that super lengthened stretch position, and you're really going to work your hamstrings and your glutes from that same angle that you would in terms of getting that stretch here that's going to help your deadlift. So I know it's a lot of nuances there, but this is an exercise I'm super picky on because it will build your deadlift. The big question is, are you doing it technically right so that it can? Now, where would I put this exercise in my training program? I think it works best after you've done your pulls for the day, so as a supplemental based exercise. And again, RPE is going to be a little bit lower. You're going to want to leave some reps in the tank. You're definitely not going to want to try to max out on this exercise. And I personally don't like to hammer a ton of volume with it. I like to much rather use this exercise as an exercise I build up two into one good quality set for the day. So we might work up to a good set of 6 or 8 at like a RP 7 or 8 or something like that. Leave some plate reps in the tank, but really just trying to get some quality weight in front of this, and you will definitely feel this the next day. But you'll also feel that when it comes to sumo and actually having to pull that deadlift, you're gonna feel like the weight's in a little bit tighter. You're gonna feel like you can use your glute and your hamstring to meet the bar faster, but then when you get those quads involved, the weights are gonna start to feel effortless and a little bit more natural. So I really like working up to one top set. If you are sold on doing a little bit of volume-based work, I would keep this at like sets of 5 and 6 with your RPE on the low end of like a 5 or 6. We got plenty left in the tank because, like I said, it will beat you up if you're not careful. So that's all I've got for this exercise. But if you got any questions about it, setup, technique, anything, leave them in the comment section. Thanks. Have a great day.